how much of it should be like tactical and then how much of it should be story. And my response is always like, I think it should really be like 95% story with like tactics, like, or values sprinkled in. And I like the way you said your book's set up with like action steps, like at the end of each chapter, like journal. So like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think story above all, or in some cases, like tactic before story, if that makes, you see what I'm trying to ask?
I do, and I don't see them as two. I don't see them as two separate things.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's take a really simple story. You take the Three Little Pigs. Okay, so there was a tactical approach to ward off the wolf, right?
Beautiful example. Yep.
Pardon?
Beautiful example. I say, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think because, and again, by the way, I'm using a story to explain a tactic.
Yep.
And the Three Little Pigs, one builds a house out of hay, the other one builds it out of I don't remember what, and the other one builds it out of bricks, which is the one that stands up to it. So there were three different kinds of things that were done. And if you look at stories of that, or like Goldilocks, where this is too cold, this is too hot, this is just right, these are all tactical choices. So I think that, a James Bond movie is all great story with the tactics of how do they defeat the bad guy who's going to take over the world. So I think that good stories and tactics are hand in glove. So if you're writing a nonfiction book about business and you can illustrate it with a good story, and so it becomes tactical, because otherwise it's dry and boring. You're not writing an instruction manual. You're trying to engage people, and you engage them with story. And if you are effective in your writing, those strategies, those tactics are embedded in it. Does that make sense?
It does 100%. Yeah. I think because the opposite, or not the opposite, but I had always separated them, because in my mind, like if it's only tactic, that's boring. And then if it's only story, that's not boring, but then there's no necessarily actionable step. But essentially what you're saying, in fact, in most cases, I'd say if you focus on story, inevitably tactic is within the story.
Exactly.